You probably think you're doing a great job taking care of your dog, right? You feed them on time, take them on daily walks, even splurge on comfy beds and expensive toys. But have you noticed how their eyes dim every time you raise your voice? Or how they shrink into a corner the moment you walk into the room? Maybe you don't mean to hurt them, but the truth is, there are tiny, repeated actions, done every day, that slowly cause emotional wounds. And the saddest part is, your dog will never forget and can't ever tell you. In this video, we're going to uncover 11 common psychological wounds, things that seem normal, but actually erode the trust and love your dog has for you, bit by bit. More importantly, I'll show you how to begin making it right and rebuilding that deep, loving bond. Starting today. Let's begin with the first mistake. Something many believe is discipline, but is actually one of the most damaging things you can do to a dog's trust. Imagine you're a child trying to learn how the world works. But instead of being gently guided, you're yelled at every time you mess up. That's exactly how your dog feels when you shout, or worse, use physical punishment, to teach them. You don't need to hit to cause harm. A raised voice and visible anger are enough to make their little heart shrink in fear. These actions don't teach right or wrong. They only teach your dog to fear you. And fear never equals respect or love. Studies show that dogs punished physically often become more reactive, or they shut down emotionally, losing their ability to communicate. They avoid you, not because they know they did something wrong, but because they're afraid you'll hurt them again, even if it's just with a look or tone. Someone once said, "If you have to make someone afraid to get obedience, that's not teaching, that's oppression." And when oppression comes from the one they trust most, it's the cruelest kind of betrayal. If you've ever shoved your dog's nose into a mess they made to teach them a lesson, please stop. This doesn't help them understand what they did wrong. It only causes shame and confusion. They don't connect the act with the punishment. All they feel is humiliation and pain. And worst of all, that you're no longer on their side. Instead, see mistakes as signals. Your dog isn't being bad. They're asking for clearer, kinder guidance. Don't just point out their mistakes. Take their little paw and show them the right way. Because every mistake is a chance to love deeper, not a reason to instill fear. If you've ever left your dog alone in the yard, in a crate, or shut in a room for hours because you think they need discipline, please understand. For dogs, isolation is not peaceful. It's one of the harshest mental punishments. Dogs are pack animals. They need connection. When separated from the family, they don't just get bored. They feel abandoned. They may lick obsessively, howl, or act out. Not because they're bad, but because they're desperate to be seen. A dog doesn't need a palace. They just need a small corner where you are. Let them feel like part of the family, not like a forgotten object in the house. If you're thinking, "I'm still home, I just don't have time to interact," that emotional neglect is just as painful. When you ignore your dog, no cuddles, no name-calling, no moments of attention, they don't understand you're busy. They just feel rejected, lost, in the very home they see as their world. Even a few minutes of tug-of-war or a loving glance as you walk by is enough to make them feel seen, valued, and loved. Never underestimate the power of a warm look or a soft scratch behind the ears. That's "I love you" in a dog's language. Don't let your busyness dull the light in their eyes when you walk into the room. Because once that light dims, it can take a long time to return. And when your dog trembles during storms or hides under the bed during fireworks, What do? Many people scold them for being scared or force them to face it. But to your dog, those fears are real and deeply rooted. They don't need you to be tough. They need you to be there, gentle, calm, and steady. When you yell at a dog in panic, you teach them, when I'm scared, I get punished. That, to a dog, is the deepest kind of pain. When the world turns away, and even their person isn't there for them. Be their safe place, especially when they're most vulnerable. Because love isn't about being strong for them. It's holding their paw when they shake. And then, there's something almost everyone overlooks. Yet it strips a dog of their natural joy. Not letting them sniff on walks. To you, a walk is exercise. To your dog, it's a journey of smells. Their way of reading the world, checking messages from other dogs, and feeling free. Every time you tug the leash while they're sniffing, you're saying, your curiosity doesn't matter. That's not just frustrating. It chips away at their joy for life. You walk to relieve stress. Dogs sniff to soothe their minds. Let them live in their world, not be dragged into yours. And when you dress your dog up in a silly costume for photos, have you looked into their eyes? Many dogs hate being dressed up, forced to stay still for pictures, or treated like toys for social media. They don't get why you're smiling while they feel uncomfortable, too tight, too hot, unable to move naturally. And some dogs have learned to suffer silently. But that doesn't mean they're okay. It just means they've learned their discomfort doesn't matter. Your dog doesn't need to be a model. They just need to be allowed to be themselves. Listen for the silent discomfort, before that sparkle in their eyes fades away. And if you think they don't understand when you argue at home, you're mistaken. Dogs are incredibly sensitive to emotions. When you yell, when tension fills the air, they feel it all. Many dogs shake, hide, or bark when they hear fights. Not because they fear you, but because their world no longer feels safe. And what's worse than fear? The helplessness of watching the ones they love hurt each other and being unable to do anything. To a dog, happiness isn't about how many toys they have. It's the peace and laughter of the home they live in. Let them grow up in love, not in the anger of adults. And in the quiet, there are wounds you don't see, like when your dog is in pain, sick, or acting strange. But you don't notice. They can't say, my stomach hurts. They can't text you, I feel off today. They just lie down more, eat less, play less, and wait for you to understand. But too often, people assume they're just lazy, getting old, or probably fine, until it's too late. Learn to spot the tiniest changes, because sometimes a timely vet visit could save their life. A careless glance can make you miss the silent cries of the smallest soul in your home. Sometimes, love means listening with your eyes, not just your ears. And if you've ever scolded your dog for growling or barking when scared, think again. Maybe it was when a stranger got too close, or when they didn't want to be touched. Growling is your dog saying, I'm not okay, please give me space. But instead of listening, many people punish them, even hit them, for disobeying. That teaches dogs, I'm not allowed to express my feelings. So they stop warning. They just endure until they snap. Not because they're aggressive, but because they have no other option. Don't punish a soul for speaking up when they have no other way to be heard. Teach them that emotions are valid, not shameful. And finally, perhaps the most overlooked, yet fundamental, part of care: clean water, nutritious food, regular vet visits, grooming, dental care, vaccinations on time. You may think a late meal isn't a big deal. But to your dog, a moment of thirst or a stomachache ignored feels like being abandoned. No one means to cause harm, but if we're not mindful, we might be doing it every day. Caring isn't something you do when you're free, it's a daily commitment, even when you're busy. Because to your dog, you're not just their owner. You are their whole world. So, yes, sometimes we don't mean to hurt them, but we accidentally leave scars that never truly heal. How many of these signs did you recognize in yourself? If it's more than a few, don't blame yourself. Because awareness, today, is the greatest gift you can give your dog. And if you found this video helpful, please hit the subscribe button. Each week, I'll share more insights to help you understand your dog better, love them more deeply, and create a world where those little hearts can truly thrive. Share this video with someone who owns a dog. You might just save a spark in their eyes that's starting to fade. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.